So one of the most common edits you'll have to make when working on a live show, and like as a playback engineer, or music director, or both, is reverb tails. Like reverb tails at the end of songs. A lot of times you'll have instrumentation going at the end of a song for an outro, and you have a stem playing, and then a lot of times the way that stem was produced, recorded for the record, the way it cuts off, it just cuts off real abruptly, like the way the wave just cuts out, like it starts to resolve, but then boom, just like nothing. And for the record, that's usually fine, in the context of how everything is. But for live, if you hear a stem like that cut off abruptly, it's gonna sound like amateur hour really in any room. So yeah, you just gotta fix it with a reverb tail. So I'll play an example of like stem playing at the end of this song of a show I recently worked on. You can hear the way it cuts off is just really not good. So you can hear that last hit. Boom. It just doesn't resolve with like a big horn, and then it starts to resolve, and then it just cuts off. So like that's not gonna sound good. So you gotta fix it with a reverb tail. And there's really I don't know, I'm not gonna say it's the only way to do it, but I feel like this is the best way to do it. And there's certainly wrong ways to do it, which can definitely come back to bite you if you don't do it right. So you just want to isolate that last hit. So right here, boom, that's it. You don't want to put the reverb on the entire stem, because that'll change the whole dynamic and the tone of this whole stem, which you don't want. You just want it on the very last hit. So yeah, you go here, and then Ableton 12 has this actually already, like, they already have this really good reverb patch called Arena Tail, which is like perfect for this. In Ableton 11, there's tons of good reverbs too, but you're probably gonna have to go and tweak the decay, the diffusion, etc. But this one like already sounds perfect in my opinion. Like everything, like the decay, the dry wet, diffusion, everything sounds perfect on this. So this is like the way it resolves. And it's not just for arenas, any room really. You can, it's perfect for a reverb tail in my opinion. No matter what the stem is. So that's kind of cool part about that. So yeah, I'll put that on. You can see how it resolves. There it is. You can see it's just like a perfect decay. The way it resolves, fades out really clean. So yeah, I'm just gonna go do that. I'm gonna go put that. So the way to do it, you gotta just isolate the last hit. So come and just just that's it. Like that's all you want, and then Control R, set it to orchestra. The track that you want to bounce. It'll only bounce this part. So it's just like a mini stem. Orchestra reverb tail, save to desktop, boom. Okay, so now what you're gonna go to do is you're just gonna delete this really. Just delete that, and then replace it with the tail that you just put in. So I'll put that there, and then put it all the way there, and now you'll see, boom. Excellent. If you want, you could even do a little crossfade action, to really smooth it over. You might not need to. And there it is. I mean, that's the best way to do it. Now people might ask, well, why don't you just automate this arena tail to, hit, like, to just turn on right when that hit comes, and it'll just be off for the remainder of the song or the show. Well, no, you definitely can't do that, because what if you change the arrangement of this song later down the line? Like you add a double chorus, or you take out a verse or whatever, and then without even realizing it, this, that automation for this reverb is going to be in a completely different spot than that hit. So it's going to come on, at like a different time in the song when it's not supposed to come on, and, MD might hear that, artist might hear that, and, you might be flying home on Spirit Airlines, because you just didn't do it the right way. So, yeah, we don't want that for you. But yeah, now the best part of all is now I can just get rid of this bad boy, and it's done. I don't need it. I bounce the stem, and now everything sounds perfect. There you have it. No more amateur hour.